Kyle Draper. Drapes, where you at? You on vacation? You by a beach somewhere?
Nah, man, I'm here in Folsom, man, chilling, holding it down, man, just doing my thing out here.
Oh, that's definitely not a beach if you're out there in Folsom.
Hey, we got a lake out here, Fred. Hey, don't
No, you do. No. Hey, look, it's champagning and campaigning out there in Folsom. I know how it is out there. I got you.
You know how it is. Hey, I need to get down to the city though, man. I'm at the Midtown or wherever y'all at, man. I gotta do some things for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're talking about, and we'll get to Mike Brown and the Kings here in just a heartbeat. But in your past life, you covered the Boston Celtics, man, and this is a Celtics team that a lot of us are feeling. This is just a tremendous fight with the Milwaukee Bucks. I just asked Kenny this question. I'll ask the same one to you. Is it possible these two teams in a slugfest for 7 games could deplete them headed into the Eastern Conference Finals for whichever one survives?
Yeah, I think so, man. I just think, I was just listening to you guys. These are the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. And, you're talking about the defending champs without Chris Middleton at that, and you see the kind of fight that they're putting up. And then the Celtics, man, these guys are battle-tested. This is their time. Let's not forget, they've been in 3 out of 4 Eastern Conference Finals prior to the bubble. And so Tatum and Brown, they've been on the biggest of stages. Let's not forget, these guys battled LeBron James to a Game 7 when he was out there in Cleveland. And so, yeah, man, this has been a great series, and it's been a literal fight out there on the court each game.
Drapes, you saw, Tatum and Brown when they were young pups, and we had a discussion earlier about like the service time of certain players. And you would think, hey, they're established veterans, they're all this other stuff. Nowadays, it doesn't match up with their actual age, because we've seen Tatum and Brown in these big moments since they came into the league. Tatum's still like 24 years old. Like, he's still in real life, like he's still a younger young man, right? So do you think like guys like Tatum, we talk about De'Aaron Fox, John Morant, those guys who we've seen for a while, who have been in the league for a while but are young in age, do you think there's still another level that they could reach, or are they kind of just, they're going to be at this level for the next 5, 6, 7 years?
No, I think there's another level that these guys can reach, because what you're seeing now is these guys are just doing what they're doing on ability. You know what I mean? They're just doing it on skills. Wait till they truly figure out the game. And I feel like you're seeing that with Tatum this season. My biggest issue with Tatum in previous years is he didn't make his teammates better. You know what I mean? Like, if he wasn't getting buckets, then, he wasn't helping out the team. Now, look at the plays he makes, not only for himself, but for his teammates. He had a play last night, man, where he drove down, drew the defense, and kicked it out. 2 years ago, he might not have made that pass. And so I'm a firm believer, when you look at guys like LeBron, Steph, Chris Paul, whatever it is, when they get that confidence that they could do whatever they want on the basketball floor, that's when they're scary. So Tatum is just now figuring that out, and I think he still has another level to go. And you guys remember back in the day, a player's prime was 28 years old. I mean, now it's like you got 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds playing at the highest level. It's just a different brand of basketball now, man.
Yeah, and we were debating whether Giannis has even peaked yet, and he's 27. Oh,
He's been around forever, man. It's crazy. He's been hooping and balling and putting up numbers and winning MVPs since he was a pup. It's crazy.
No.
Were you with Boston when Mike Brown was still in Cleveland? The first time around when there was a rivalry?
No, Mike Brown. When did Mike Brown leave Cleveland?
The summer of 2010. When the big free agency class of 2010.
That was my first season there was 2009, 2010.
Okay.
And so we actually didn't see Mike Brown that first year because Orlando beat Cleveland in the playoffs, and then the Celtics were able to beat Orlando to get to the NBA Finals. And so I came right after, LeBron and the Celtics were going through it with Paul Pierce and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Okay.
What you thinking about this new hire, Mike Brown? Like we see what he's done in his career as far as what he did in Cleveland and in LA, and he had a tough time the second time he came back to Cleveland. But it's a guy who's a basketball lifer. He's been on championship winning staffs and he's had a success himself. What do you think about Mike Brown being the new Kings head coach?
I actually love this hire, man, and I'm not going to just say that just because, I'm a Kings guy and an announcer and everything like that. I honestly thought they would go a little younger, one of these up-and-coming coaches, sort of like Monty Williams, Willie Green, somebody cut from that kind of cloth and give them a chance. But when you look at Mike Brown's resume, you can't argue with making it to the NBA Finals. I think, when you look at him, he's I don't want to say matured, but I think the Golden State experience will help him out here. And look at his failed attempts, though. The Lakers, when he was there, that was, let's keep it real, that was a shell of a squad. Steve Nash didn't play. You look at that Cleveland team when he came back and coached them, that roster was awful. And so I think, he's had some time now, and I think he's ready to take charge. But as you guys know, it's not about Mike Brown. You can get Greg Popovich up in here, Spoelstra. If these dudes don't play, if De'Aaron Fox don't come in ready to go from game one, then, I don't think anybody can succeed. And so I think this is a huge year for De'Aaron Fox, man. Like, the De'Aaron Fox we saw in October, November, December, that's just not going to cut it. Yeah. I don't care who you got as head coach. He has to be the guy from the get-go. And I know Kings fans are hoping that, but I don't care who the coach is. I think he has to come in there and be ready to go once camp and the season begins.
That's a great point that Kenny and I have been talking about the last couple of days. That if something look off with De'Aaron this year, I'm not going to look at Mike Brown. I'm going to look at De'Aaron Fox. We keep using the term unlocking De'Aaron Fox. We got all these keys to try to unlock De'Aaron Fox, Kyle Draper. Like, this dude is locked down like he's Fort Knox or something. And it's like, at what point does De'Aaron Fox just got to open the door and say, let's go?
Yeah, but what's so sad about, the NBA now is, you obviously you want guys to be self-motivated, right? You want guys to be hungry. But you also need a coach that's going to challenge De'Aaron Fox and hold him accountable. And I'm hoping Mike Brown is that guy. And so, from an organizational standpoint, I go back to the first couple of weeks I worked with the Kings organization when, Katie and I had the discussion, and I've told this story before. Fox had 43 against New Orleans, and she's like, well, we can't expect De'Aaron to have this kind of game all the time. And I'm like, no, we have to set the bar high. We have to demand excellence from De'Aaron Fox. He's our guy. If we're going to talk playoffs and advancing, De'Aaron Fox has to be the guy, and we got to hold him accountable and demand that out of him.
I agree 100%. And I had a brief conversation with Fox before, and I've said it on the radio, and I said it to him. I said, well, I hold those type of standards to you as a compliment. If I thought you were some type of scrub or you weren't capable, I'd be like, it's cute that he does that every now and then. No, you're more than capable to have these type of big games and play the way you did in the second half of the season all year long, because I think that highly of your skill set and your talent. And I think I agree with you, Drapes. The expectation for not only how we think De'Aaron Fox should play, but for himself, which I'm sure is just as high. What he expects out of himself should be, this is what I should do night in, night out, what I did after January 1st of this past season.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm De'Aaron Fox, I'm sitting at home, I'm watching the playoffs, and I'm watching Tatum go off, and I'm watching Bam advance, and I'm watching, some of these other Devin Booker, having big games, John Morant. I'm like, you know what, forget that. I want to be a part of that. And that's what we've seen from just the great ones. You don't think John Morant saw some of these guys and said to himself, you know what, next year I'm going to be on that stage. And look what happened. He set the tone for the Memphis Grizzlies. And I think De'Aaron Fox has to do the same for us.
See, Damian, ain't that what I said? Me and Draper need to go play basketball somewhere, because he wired like me. He wired like me. We just kind of turn up. We see other people doing stuff, and we just kind of turn up. Like, I need some of that action. See, that's why Draper is my guy.
See, Dre, is that what motivates you as a broadcaster? Like, do you look at these other broadcasters and like, yo, I could do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm
Jim Stimpy, bro, for sure. I'll be sitting here. I'll be like, what Mike Breen got that I don't have?
Talk to him,
Drake. In the lab, bro.
Drake woke up this morning. $37 million for Tom Brady. Give me a break.
Exactly. You know, what does he have that I don't have?
That's right.
Super Bowls and Giselle as a wife. What what else does he have that I don't have? You know. So, that's all right. No, it's competition out here, man. Yeah. And if you want to be that guy, you know, you can't, you know, hey, all these people are my guys. And if I'm De'Aaron Fox, sure, you're my guys, but I want to be better than you. That's just the way it got to be.
That's it. That's it. Kyle, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for carving a few minutes out to hang out with us. We appreciate it.
All right, fellas. Talk to y'all soon, man.
Take care,
man.